The Daily Compliance News for November 2025, the end of Whistleblower Protection Edition. This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is the only daily podcast which curates 4 top compliance, ethics, and/or corruption stories for your listening and viewing pleasure if you're watching this on YouTube. Well, really no surprise here from the corrupt Trump administration as they want to end whistleblower protection for U.S. federal employees. They're close to implementing a rule that would end long-standing practices providing legal protection for whistleblowers among federal employees. The rule would allow a change in employment standards and build on a series by the administration to minimize dissent. So, if you work for the federal government, guess what? They're coming after you if you think. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Europe aimed to set the standards for tech rules, but now apparently wants to roll some of them back. Backed by Germany and France, the EU is thinking about easing on legislation that will make the bloc less dependent on U.S. tech. Long seen as a global rule setter for technology, AI, and digital services, the EU wants to loosen regulatory strictures on the fast-growing U.S.-dominated sections. Next up, from Compliance Week. Doing compliance can turn your company to a competitive advantage, certainly in the defense realm. And an annual meeting of the Association of the U.S. Army, Secretary of the Army Dan Driscoll said, "We can't wait to innovate." And after seeing the combined power of the Silicon Valley, they are likely to turbocharge moving forward. What does that have to do with compliance? Well, it's pretty clear. If you have compliance that can move at the speed of business, you're going to be in a much better position to actually do business with the federal government. The U.S. Army has been testing this with various Silicon Valley firms, and they found that if you have a great compliance program that can pivot and move quickly to help foster innovation, it certainly is something that the federal government wants to do business with. So, as I've said for many, many years, compliance is a competitive advantage. And finally, from the Financial Times, it reports that BDO is overhauling its global structure and ambitious long-term push to operate as a more unified international organization, marking a break from the traditional federated structures used by most large accounting firms. The move gathered pace at the International Partner Meeting in October and will begin by merging clusters of firms within the world's 5th largest accounting network by revenues, with some partners describing the ambition to have a more single firm globally. So BDO is maybe changing the way they are structured, and that could lead to other accounting firms following suit. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.